Hi guys, today I'm here with Hyundai's Kona N, their first ever performance crossover with that all-important N badge. But has it lost the fun and drivability of the manual range with the N Performance Pack? And also, as a crossover, does it need that all-wheel drive? Let's find out.
The Hyundai Kona N is the latest addition to the N Performance range, adding a performance crossover to the fleet. The i30N's big brother shares the same 2-litre turbocharged engine producing 276 brake horsepower and 289 pound-feet of torque. And with the front-wheel drive, it gives you a 0 to 60 time of 5.5 seconds, even with the added 50 kilograms of weight. It shares a lot of characteristics with the hot hatch with an 8-speed DCT, electronic limited slip differential and 489 Nürburgring development laps. It has driver engagement at its heart, but with the added practicality of a crossover, including the same digital dash in the i20N, added heads-up display, different terrain features and more room for the family in the back, and shopping in the boot. But does the lack of all-wheel drive take away from the crossover, and does the crossover deserve the N Performance badge? Let's find out.
The Kona N is the latest addition to the N range of Hyundai. It has the powertrain from the i30N squeezed into a smaller yet 50 kilograms heavier Kona. So it's got all the facts on paper and all the figures of performance, but with it being so high up in comparison to the i30N, one, is it going to roll, and two, is it going to be as much fun? These cars do have the traditional SUV kind of modes, even though it's only front wheel drive. So there's no all-wheel drive system, but it has a sand, hill and snow mode. But let's be realistic, in England it snows once every few years. It's never really that bad, and when do you go driving up a hill in your performance SUV? You don't. So it's very, very cool features, but would I buy a car based off that? Probably not. The Kona N only comes in an 8-speed DCT, the same box that's in the new i30N DCT. So it's a dual clutch transmission, 8-speed, and to be honest, it's pretty faultless. The shifts are really quick. You've got lots of little quirky modes in it, such as, oh, that's grin shift. Oh, that goes. That's cool. The power is actually very surprising, especially this very cool red button called grin mode or grin shift, where all you do is press it and you get a 20-second boost. Which actually, flipping heck, for a car of this size, I mean, even inside you feel like you're in quite a big car. That shifts and it gives you a grin. So well done marketing on that naming. Very inventive. That's a cool button. I really was not expecting that at all. There is very little body roll for a car of this size. Like I say, the i30N is so good at being very composed and settled on the road that I thought this being higher centre of gravity might unbalance that. You might get just a little bit of that boaty feeling, but you really don't. It's weird because in your mind you're waiting for it to happen and you hold back a little bit, but in reality you don't need to, because this car is more than capable. And you can see the characteristics that Hyundai have put through the whole M range. It's driver's focus. That DCT box is as driver's focus as you can get with an automatic. Again, you've got a proper handbrake, you've got the N mode, you've got the cool grin button as well, which is just epic. The hundreds of different combinations of driving modes that you can do with the steering, the suspension, the throttle, it's really something special. It really is in its own sector of the market, because the nearest thing to it is the Ford Puma ST. But the Ford Puma is 80 horsepower down on this, so you can't really compare them. Hyundai have seen a gap in the market, they've went for it, and they've nailed it. The ride actually isn't any lower than the regular Kona, so you still get all the comfort and practicality and adultness that you need in an SUV or crossover. So you have that compromise where you have the family car, but you also have some epic performance that if you want to put your foot down or actually enjoy a B-road like a hot hatch, you have that capability. And a lot of people do say they can compare the Kona N to the hot hatches. However, it is a little bit heavier, it isn't as direct. I feel the brakes aren't quite up to scratch with the i30N, but it's not far off. And if you're looking for a compromise, this is the perfect one. The suspension is still a little bit firm in N mode, and in state of British roads you can really feel those bumps. However, just pop it into comfort or eco and you can relax a lot more. The interior itself, actually, you've got a nice leather steering wheel, you've got the nice flashes of blue everywhere as well. So it's a really comfortable cockpit to be in. The seats are comfortable, you've got your 10.5-inch infotainment system as well, so you've got sat-nav, radio, all that jazz as standard. So you've got so much equipment in for that £35,000 starting price. I mean, they're not conning you over with adding loads of these extras where you need to keep adding money to. They've given you it all in the first package. At the end of the day, you never expect a fantastic MPG on a performance car, and this is no different. Hyundai state about 33 miles per gallon is an average for this car. If you've got a heavy right foot, that might be slightly lower. The nice thing with the Kona is it's more extrovert than its competitors and other crossovers, even non-performance ones. From standard up, it's got such a character about it, and in the N version, it really shines through. And the driving experience is, to be honest, second to none. And for the car it is, it just makes you smile. You've got an awesome digital dash display in front of you, but as well as that, a little heads-up display pops up as well, which basically just kind of reflects what's already on your digital dash. So you've got your gear, your speed, and also your revs are there as well. Whereas on the digital, in the N mode, you've got your oil temp, engine temp, turbo PSI, and also torque, which is really cool to see go up through the range. That's not bad for a performance crossover. The fact it's all-wheel drive. In 90% of scenarios, you don't need all-wheel drive. It's more for when you're getting stuck in certain situations like off-roading, snow. In this, it still handles so well because you get all the quirks of a front-wheel drive hot hatch. So when you are kind of flooring it and your traction controls off, your front wheels are spinning, your front wheels digging really well, and if you've got a good setup on it on the driver mode, you can get some movement in the back end to really rotate the car. So for something that looks and feels so big inside, it's not boaty at all, and you can really utilise the front wheel drive to your driving style. Would a all-wheel drive version or four-wheel drive version suit maybe an additional extra as an option? I think that might be a gap in the Kona M performance that potentially Hyundai could look into. And there we have it, my first drive in the Hyundai Kona N, the first performance SUV Hyundai I've made. And well, yeah, it didn't disappoint. Very similar in terms of a hot hatch of an i30, but with that bit more adult feel. It doesn't roll, it's got a very cool boost mode, and it puts a big smile to your face. So what more could you want? You can get your kids to school, but still have fun on those B roads as well. But there you have it, guys. You guys know the drill. To make my journey your journey, like, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!